Here's how to evaluate arc functions without a calculator. So the key thing to this is knowing the unit circle and also knowing the domains of all of these arc functions. So basically the domain of arcsine and arctangent are from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, and of arccosine from 0 to pi. Now it's easier than remembering that domain is arcsine. You use arcsine and arctangent, you use only the right half of the unit circle, and arccosine, you only use the top part of the unit circle. So let's look at it, and that should make sense to you when we're done. So the first one says, A, what's the arcsine of 1/2? So that means find the angle whose sine is 1/2. But arcsine is always the right half of the unit circle because of its domain. So we need to find the angle whose sine is 1/2. Sine is y. So we go just slightly up on the unit circle. So it must be this spoke. So it's a pi over 6 circle. So you count up, it's 1 pi over 6. So the arcsine of 1/2 is pi over 6. Simple as that. On these, they're one-to-one functions because they're inverses, so you will only always find one answer. So arc cosine of negative root 3 over 2. The arc cosine, because of the domain, we're only using the top half of the unit circle. And now this means find the angle whose cosine is negative root 3 over 2. Cosine is x. So negative root 3 over 2 is the long distance on x. So that angle must be associated with this spoke right here, because you went the long way on the x. So I'm going to fill in the other spokes just for counting purposes. 1, 2, 3. So now we count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pi over 6. Very easy. Arctangent, the same thing here, but now arctangent is, the domain is like the arcsine. The only difference is the arctangent doesn't include the endpoints of pi over 2 and negative pi over 2. But it's always the right half of the circle. So now we have to find which spoke on this has a tangent that equals negative root 3. So by memory, I remember that the far spokes from the x-axis for tangent are the root 3. So negative root 3 would be right here. Positive root 3 would be up here. So be careful when you count this. Usually we like to count counterclockwise, but remember, you only have half this circle to deal with. So you need to count this way. In other words, that angle is just going to be negative. So this is negative 1 pi over 6, and this is negative 2 pi over 6. So that's our answer, negative 2 pi over 6, which is reduced negative pi over 3. One more to go. The arc cosine of 0 means find the angle whose cosine of 0, whose x value is 0. So again, with cosine, we're doing the top part of the circle. Cosine is x. So x, we don't move anywhere on the x-axis. We stay put. So that would be associated with this spoke, or the axis. This is 0, 1. So that's pi over 2. If you want to count like with your pi over 6 circle, it'd be 1, 2, 3 pi over 6. It would reduce to pi over 2. So either way, the arc cosine of 0 is, I'm just making it clearer here, is right here, and that's pi over 2. Done. I'll see you next time.